Happy day to you. Giddy up, boom, bop, meow, meow. Didn't say any of that. Okay, what are we going to talk about today? Okay, allowing yourself to to feel, I was going to say fresh in the moment, but then I sound like some sort of commercial. Let every moment be new. I work on this of letting what comes to me just be about that moment and not any I don't know why and no definitions that no, I'm not drinking or none of that. Yes, it's New Year's Eve, but there's none of that going on. I just feel giddy for some reason. Okay, so I'm practicing on letting this moment be about this moment and nothing that I'm projecting that I need to happen in the future. I'm not holding on to a certain way things need to happen. I'm holding a certain vibration. Let something happen, and not take any past definitions. So that would be factoring in none of the old programs. It's not, well, it's easier said than done. So, letting things happen, experiencing new. Every moment is new. And even though the same things might appear to be happening, every moment is really new. So if you can possibly neutralize yourself. Okay, but rewind and neutralize yourself. That you have no information. You just kind of have the basics. You don't have any programs. You've never experienced it before. And you just take it as it comes to you, fresh and new. That's what I'm working on. It's not be like, oh, done that a million times, it didn't work. Oh, that again. Oh, let it be new and fresh. Okay, all right. Acting like, that fear is believing in a reality that you don't want. Right? So I was studying the other day about trusting something like this chair, for example. I 100% trust that it's going to catch me. We gotcha, right? That's the kind of knowing that creates reality. That's just a little side note. But side note that made me forget the note. Oh, that isn't even that. Okay, that's about fear is believing in a reality, something you don't prefer, right? Oh, I'm afraid this will happen. I'm afraid that will happen. And then you put that in the vibration. But in trusting something just as much as you trust that the chair is going to catch you. And they say, well, I can't trust that, oh, this is going to happen to me or that's going to happen to me. Like, they can't think of good things happening to them. They can't think of, okay, winning the lottery or something coming into their life that they prefer, that they're excited about, that they would enjoy. They're like, well, it can't just happen just like that. But you're trusting, you're 100% believing that it can't happen. So why trust in that and not put your trust in the fact that it possibly could happen? Or that it could happen? I'm not intending to make any sense. Whew. Let's keep these nice and warm. The home fire's burning. Okay. Creating a reality from the full vantage point of now, without needing to know future events, without factoring in past events. How do we do that? Okay, obviously we need to know how to read and write and the basics, right? We're walking around, we know certain things, but we don't need to drag in, what was it? What's this stuff at the Matrix, right? The new Matrix movie of like escaping the program. I love that because then it's like a challenge in a game, right? Instead of like, oh, feel sorry for yourself or whatever. It's like, I can escape this program. This is just a program. It's not mine. It doesn't matter whether it's my mother's or some programmer in the sky or me that created the game or the matrix or the construct before I came here. Okay? What matters is that I know I can transcend any program. If I don't prefer it, then I'm going to move beyond it. I'm going to let it go. And when you get to thinking, oh, well, what does it matter? What does anything matter? Blah, 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 blah. Well, first of all, in quantum physics, thought matters, right? So thought, belief, the way that your programs, your triggers, they all matter. So they turn into matter, physical matter. They're thoughts that turn into matter. Okay, and when you get to thinking, well, nobody's really doing anything that matters, right? So what's the point of being here? And the experience is the point. to just experience it. The more you buy into certain versions of reality, the more that's an option that can happen to you. Okay? Whatever your worst case scenario is that you're going over and over in your mind, oh my gosh, this could happen, that could happen, this could happen. You're creating a reality where that exists as a possibility. I know it's hard. It's like that saying where they say, don't think of elephants, don't think of elephants, and then you think of elephants. So you're trying not to think negative. You don't, it's not like that where you just think of something negative and, oh no, I can't think of something negative because I'm going to draw to it. It's these obsessive thoughts. It's the thoughts with the emotions, okay? It's the constantly worrying about something that might happen instead of just letting things happen and then dealing with the happen. Because whatever vein of society that you buy into is out there, and you obsess over it. And even when you're advocating something, you're like obsessed over something. You're fixated on it. You're focused. You spend all your time on it. You're creating that reality as an option for yourself and for the matrix, for the construct, for others. And if you really feel you need to do it, trust that. Trust your highest excitement. However, don't do it for long. Maybe a couple months, 3 months, whatever you're doing, and then switch your focus onto something that you love instead of, advocating for something that you don't necessarily like. And there's varying degrees of that. I'm one to speak. We won't get into that today. But the more you go, oh my gosh, there's like I heard people today, like there's no rentals, right? There's no housing. There's no this, there's no that. You can really pick anything. But why are some people just, boom, there it is, magically. And other people are like, no, it never happens. It's bad here. It's always been bad. Or, like if you go to the store 500 times and they don't have a certain sauce you like, you always be like, nope, they never have that. They're never going to have that. Right? But, and I've seen this happen, but then you imagine it's a possibility, or you could pick that up in town, and then there it is. Okay, from the little things to the big things. Like the court system is an example. When you play, you're in it. Why bother, right? They do what they want. They got their rules. They got 1,000 different laws, and they'll pick one, and they'll pick this one for that person. They'll pick, it's all irrelevant baloney, okay? It's about your vibration, your frequency. That's the kind of life and lifestyle you attract to you. It may not be what you prefer, okay? It's not always what I prefer, because I want to create something bigger. We're a new earth. I'm hoping to do that. So I'm changing my vibration to do that. But for now, just the basic concept of the ones that exist already in the game, in the matrix, right? So whether it's, the court system and you really like engage in that, or you're like, oh, go, let's find a cure for cancer, right? Because there isn't any. Check my other channels for that information. We're not allowed to tell the truth here on YouTube, which is probably where I'll put this. Oh my gosh, that was a total tangent. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. So it is really hard to create. Oh, I didn't say that. It's easy to create reality from the moment of now and let go of everything else. I get really excited by the idea of thinking that I'm escaping the matrix, right? I'm getting out of the programs. Look, see how cold it is in here? Can you see my air? My air. It makes me have a more positive feeling about things, knowing that I am in a game. I'm escaping something. I know that I'm not going to let that program go, no, we're real. You're stupid. You're a loser. You're this, you're that. This guy's good. This guy's that. This is what success is. This is what success isn't. This is what healthy is. This is what healthy isn't. You got to make up your own mind, okay? You got to be sovereign. Okay, that's what New Earth is all about. Each person being sovereign. You can't be sovereign if you're always looking to someone else to tell you what to do to make your life better. They don't know you. Okay, focus on what it is that you want your life to be. Okay, any reality that you buy into is an option for you to be living. Okay, well, let's leave that there for now. Okay, so feeling, we've talked about this many times, but what it means to feel into the moment. So when you kind of got a clean slate, and then you're like, okay, doesn't matter what you're doing, you just feel excited, like, oh, I think I'll go to the store now. And so you feel excited about that. And then partway to the store, you're like, oh, it looks like a beautiful day. I think I'll go to the park. and partway to the park, you go somewhere else. Okay, that's just an example. But anything you're doing in your life, whatever that first excitement is, you head in that direction. But then if something else seems more exciting, you follow in that direction, because that's how your higher self communicates with you. Okay, through your excitement, through your joy. You can always trust that the universe has your back. The universe will catch you. And you're experiencing what you came here and you chose to experience. It may not seem that way, but the more you can be yourself and follow your joy, follow your excitement, and not listen to any of the naysayers, the more the universe will have your back, per se, and create more comfort, more joy as you experience these things that you chose to experience before you came here to this construct, this game, Mother Earth, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Because all we have is the now moment. All we have is the forever now. It's always this now moment. We don't die. We're always in the now. So perfecting our thoughts in the now it is the point. It's dense here in this energy, but with New Earth it's kind of lifted, but it's so dramatic now, right? As soon as I focus on something negative, I'm like, well, that ain't gonna work, or this didn't happen, or you jumped over the Niagara Falls, right? It's like, you gotta quickly come back. What is it? Abraham Hicks says 17 seconds or whatever. But it's like, the quicker you can stop the thought, and again, I say this in every video because I love that. And a book I read not too long ago about the bird can land on your doorstep, but you don't need to let it build a nest. So the thoughts can come in, but you don't need to go over them and over them. You can try things like, that's not mine. That must be the neighbor, somebody else thinking that, or not my monkey, not my circus. That's none of my business stuff. You can go there. Is the steam going to come off my head now too? Because it's so cold. Wow. Yeah, indoors. Okay. Alrighty then. So, I know. Pick me. Okay. Take time out. Don't need to be validated, okay? Don't need the phone to constantly validate you. Oh my God, has anybody messaged me? Is someone this? Is someone else say I'm okay or I'm good? Or, sit with yourself. No phone. Go off grid. Live in a car. Well, you can obsess over your phone in a car too. Not that I've ever done that, But take time away from needing constant validation from the matrix, from the construct. And creating, my mind just jumped somewhere else, so I'm going to go there. I practice with seeing things I've never seen before. Okay, and Spirit's been working with me that for years. Like, I'll be like, okay, I've never seen a hippopotamus ride a bike, so I'll picture that, and then maybe a certain hat, or picture things I've never seen before, conjure that image up. And and last week I was working on, Spirit was telling me to create recipes, right? I was creating tastes in my mind. I forget exactly how it went, but I was like, to create this new thing. And I'm like, well, I can't create a new flavor or a new ingredient without the past ingredients. And then that reminded me of something that my friend told me, that the Alan Watts thing, of that, how do you create the most amazing apple pie? Well, first you create the universe, right? So I was telling Spirit, I love the exercise of working with it, but it's like, I can't, unless I knew what the ingredients tasted like, I can't create something new. I forget all the details of the vision, but I came up with a flavor that I'd never tasted before. And I know it sounds weird, but a burger with banana mashed in it. And I'm going to try that sometime. But what Spirit was trying to get me to do is imagine a new flavor in my mind. So take things that I would never eat together and put them together in my mind and taste them together. And showing me that that's how life is. We're here gathering the things that we prefer. We're going to leave the things we don't prefer. And then as we go on to our next game, our next matrix, our home, or wherever we're going, we take that with us. And we know that. So once you know the taste of ginger, you know the taste of ginger. So you can imagine ginger and vanilla ice cream, even if you've never had that, right? You can put those tastes together in your mind. And Spirit was showing me that as kind of alchemy, but Spirit was showing me in a metaphor for how it works here you know, to kind of give me a boost of like, what does it matter? What does life matter? What am I here for? What the, you know, what is it? You know, but I'm gathering spices, okay? I'm gathering ingredients for what I'm going to create later, or what I create in my mind. And on that note, you know, yeah, I'm jumping all over the map. That's where Spirit's taking me. I've been going to the same house every night for at least a week in my dreams. And I remember the place each time. And I go to sleep in the dream, and then I sleep within I dream within the dream. And I've been doing that for weeks, and it's just awesome. And I've been talking to these people and doing healing work, been teaching things, creating rooms, having really cool conversations, having different feelings and different experiences, and remembering it when I wake up, and going back into the dream in that same house and changing things. It's really, really interesting to me. This life, this reality, it's just me. I don't really invite anybody over. I don't hang out with anybody. I don't go anywhere by choice. And that's just where I'm at right now. I meditate a lot. I sleep a lot. I spent my first few months here just 24 hours a day on the internet creating this big project. And then I got done with that. I called it done. And I was going to move on to this other project. And then I just kind of went to sleep. And it reminds me, because like today I watched Inception. I watched the first Matrix again last week, and then I watched The Revolution. But the movie Inception, I just love it, right? The dream within the dream within the dream. And so, also, yes, jumping all over the map. Spirit was teaching me the other night this training method. Now, I wrote it down in detail. I don't remember exactly. I'm not really going to talk about that just yet. But Spirit taught me the training method, and I fell asleep like half hour later, and in my dream I was teaching it to other people and doing it, and I love stuff like that. And it's weird to say, but I feel so fulfilled with the work I'm doing in my dreams, that this reality, you know, cars, you hear the cars zipping by, the you can't go into this restaurant, you can't go to that, everybody's all like the zombie apocalyptic, you know, doesn't even make sense, logical reality doesn't exist to me. It's not really part of my world. I check in on them online, just like a movie or whatever, but I'm really working on creating my new matrix, my new game board, right? And to do that, I have to get past depression, get past apathy, get past why bother, get past, well, I'm just going to sit here and wait for humanity to catch up with me. I wait for the sheeple to wake up, but it's not about that. Okay, we're there. Okay, we are in New Earth. Those things that didn't work before, they're going to work now. Okay, you slip into negativity and that ain't going to work for you. It ain't going to work for you. You jump right back into, that's going to work. It's going to work. And so holding that frequency of the vibration you want, it is way easier than it sounds. And some days I struggle with it. Because some days I just be like, well, what's the point? Okay, so then, but then what? But then what? Especially when I factor in the Mandela effect, right? When I factor in that I know I've shifted realities and I know I can shift realities. Understanding how reality works, how I project reality, how I create reality, how the game board, the matrix or whatever had all these options, right? We on this level, we went to this level now in New Earth. We have a whole nother set of options. We just have to do it, okay? Including all the stuff they're doing with the alien stuff, right? They're like, well, NASA hired 24 theologians, religious whatevers, to gauge how billions of people will react to aliens, right? And that's the new headlines. Well, we've known there's aliens forever. I'm an alien, okay? I was talking last week about the Bashar information about that the Bigfoots consider all of us humans alien because they were here, right? Everyone and everything is alien to something, okay? I've seen things as a child. I've seen things in the sky. I know people who were abducted. It's matter of fact to me my whole life, okay? It's not a question to me. And so, and there's been documents, right, over and over and over. And I have family members who have videos of stuff they took, I think in the 70s or 80s, that ended up on one of these UFO shows in eastern Montana. And it's never been something that I questioned whether it existed or not. I don't get the people who do. But So now they've done disclosure, right? The CIA documents, Trump signed that stuff had to be disclosed by blah blah, and it was. Okay, there's all these new reports and there's sightings all the time, and people are still like, well, I just don't know, like the type of person that look in the mirror and go, I just don't know if I got a head, I don't know if I got two hands. I just don't know. I'm gonna have to do some more research. Maybe that Dr. Fauci can tell me if I got two hands and 2 feet. Okay. Anyway, so they're going to, I mean, what a joke, right? A Catholic priest is going to, okay, well, Mr. and Mrs. Alien, like they're going to be our spokesperson for our spirituality. The Galactic Council of Light, the spirit beings that work with us and from our home planet, they know, okay, and they know telepathy and they see all. They're not going to take what these 24 people to speak for us, okay? That's how it used to be, right? When the Catholic Church came to places like America and killed all the Indians and stole their land in the name of their God, right? Earthlings are peons to the technology out there. They can just be vaporized. And the aliens are, the UFOs, the interdimensional are here. Earth was in a quarantine. We've been off quarantine since 2012. More and more ships. So now it's about when you're ready to see them, okay? So now they're like, well, we're gauging whether society's ready. And they're doing it through the religious section, right? Meanwhile, the headlines are reading that people are leaving organized religion in droves, right? But they're still craving spirituality, which is divinity, right? The divinity scriptures, the things that you hold dear for you. So that's still there. And so I just find it so comical that they still think that the religious leaders speak for us, okay? What I teach in my church is sovereignty. Each one of you individual. People today that you know a lot of different spiritual stuff, okay? You've studied a lot, so you've been around a lot. You don't, one true God and one way to God, that's like so yesterday, right? You don't believe that. You certainly wouldn't be watching me if you believed that, right? So, I also know that this body's not real, especially with the Mandela effect. I know that I moved realities. My consciousness can be in a chair, it could be in a goat, it could be in a tree. Wherever my consciousness is, I know that to be me. Okay, so what can the aliens do to me? People are scared of them. Kill me, eat me. If they were going to do any of that, they would have already done all that, right? The weird things that happened in the 70s and 80s, like in Close Encounters of the whatever kind, that was because Eisenhower made a deal with Valiant Thor. Look up some of that stuff. It's kind of interesting. And Admiral Byrd and Inner Earth too. But anyway, to experiment on human, they abducted humans. They did the hybrid stuff. From the version of Earth with the Greys that had done bad things to itself. They I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, I've completely lost the plot, clearly. I need my tinfoil hat. But I'm just saying, if they were going to harm us, they would harm us, and that even if in death, we move on now. Okay? Before 2012, when Earth was still in quarantine, okay, and you can research all this stuff, the other realm, other beings weren't allowed to come here, okay? And they're here now. If they were going to do something that was harmful, they would. Humanity has been liberated. We were just recycled over and over and over and over, right? Our consciousness was hijacked, and we were the dark overlords. And I mean, if you think about it, I mean, right, come on. Earth is hell, right? I mean, I don't look at it that way now. I think there's hope we create something better. But these rulers, they dam the rivers, they force electricity into a wire, and then they make you have debt slavery to pay for electricity that they're getting for free when electric is everywhere. Okay? They bottle your water and sell it to you. They take your stuff and then they sell it to you. Okay, the banks use your money and then they make more money, and then you go to work and then they take half your money in taxes, and then they take all this to do their games and and it's all about energy. Okay, to me that's hell, right? To me, Earth life, yes, a lot of beautiful miracles, a lot of beauty, but in a lot of ways it was hell. Okay, the power structure, the military structure, the constant wars, the politicians, the medical system, all hell. And now we're being liberated from that. And so since 2012, when the quarantine was lifted, and so the Galactic Council of Light, which is, you know, all of the, well, or I don't know about all, but lots of, as you probably know if you're watching this anyway, but it also includes Trump and others of the spokesperson of Earth, right? No, they don't necessarily speak for you, but it's about human speaking, like you asking the Galactic Council of Light for help, like being in this frequency and asking for it. Gosh, there's a ton about all of that, but I just flashed on something else. Was more things on not necessarily a will to live, but a reason to be here. Spirit was showing me, I'm like, well, don't I have enough, right? Like, don't I know what it's like here on Earth, and I know different tastes and stuff, and I know things through movies, and I can watch movies on the other side of the veil, right? I mean, why do I have to be here in body form, just sitting here? Like, what is the point? There's, you know, it's just not all that to me. And so it's like, well, when you experience it from the human body, it's a different frequency that you're experiencing, and then you're interacting with it as a human in that frequency. And I had a download, and I got a lot of clarity on it. And I felt better about it. So I'm, you know, because I don't find a lot of things that the humans do interesting. Okay. People are like, oh, we're going to do this for fun this weekend. We're going to do that for fun. We're going to go here. We're going to travel here. None of it sounds fun to me. Okay. Most things that people say they're going to do or planning to do or their big dream to do is not fun for me. Okay. I more enjoy laying flat and astro traveling and lucid dreaming and creating in my dreamland, or, you know, talking to spirit, or, you know, studying, probably because, you know, that's the game piece I chose, you know, the Hierophant. So I like to study and do my spiritual work and blah, blah, blah. You know, working on being my highest and best self, working on every trigger and every program. That is joyful for me. And the healing work that I do with people in helping them to raise their frequency and keep their frequency raised so we can go to the next level, so they can, and the whole, you know, mass consciousness can. I really get a buzz and joy from that. I like to give readings. I like to do healings, but then I like people to go away. Okay, so whether the healing's 1 hour, 3 hours, whatever, ongoing healing. I don't really like to just sit and visit and make small talk with just the general public. I like to have, you know, groups over and visit about certain topics and things, and then I like them to go away. Why did I say that? I don't know. It's just that I guess I'm kind of bringing in the vulnerability here of the theme of that. I find myself some days going, why bother? What the fuck, right? There's nothing, you know, okay, I can go walk on the beach, that's lovely, but I have the beach memorized, okay? Everywhere I've ever been, I can be. And I have a photographic memory, and I'll bring up one thing in it, like the movie Inception, where I'll bring up one thing from where I've been, and I can create the whole scene. I can smell everything and see everything, and I can go there right from this spot of everywhere I've ever been. And I created placeholders to places I went. I would deliberately like hold an object or just look right at it. Like, for example, in Kona, there was, not Kona, in Kauai, this big, beautiful mountain, and the mountain was speaking to me. And I was at this vacation rental with no car, no way to town, no food. I like to do these sorts of things. I like to jump off a cliff and wait for my wings. Anyway, so there was a statue of a Saint Germain, and yeah, it was Saint Germain. And I sat on the ground and I looked right at it and I took a visual, and now I have that, right? And I have the mountain, I have the house, I have the placement, I have the smells. And so we collect that for creating the life that we want to live. And so I get to thinking, some days I'm like, okay, well, it's not, I can pretend. I go, oh yes, it would be joyful for me today to go to the beach. Well, I have it all memorized. It's just not. I would be lying to myself to say, yeah, I feel like going to the beach. And sometimes my body just wants to move around, right? So I'll go walk on the trails or whatever. But I tend to try to make myself feel guilty for just resting, right? Like, I got to accomplish something. I got to succeed. I got to do something. I got to be busy, or I'm not important. I don't matter. I have no worth, right? And knowing that I can transcend these programs, and that's the whole fucking goal, right? Is to get out of the programs. Just like astrology, whatever. Okay, this is your blueprint. You have to do this. Okay, these are your programs. But can you get out of the program, right? So you're the cartoon on the TV. Can you wake up in that dream, in that cartoon? So we're these avatars, like Westworld or whatever you saw out there. Can we wake up inside of the dream and lucid dream? And this is a lucid dream. And like in the movie Inception, it's so interesting how each level they still needed oxygen, right? Or thought they did. They still thought they would drown. They still thought they as they went to the dream within the dream within the dream, it still had the same game rules per se. And so yeah, so I'm doing more of that. I'm practicing lucid dreaming. In my 20s I could lucid dream a lot easier, but now it's just incredible the work I'm doing in my dreams, like just even like gardening or creating an office or meeting new people. It's like I have this really rich life in my dreamland, and I'm remembering the people and talking to the people, and so I'm traveling. And we astral travel every night, and we travel to different realms. But now we can also deliberately travel to places that we create, like a shared dream, like in Inception, right? And when we know we're dreaming, and we remember that we have the ability to create, we create new constructs in the dream, and that's what we practice on to do, because that's what this reality is too. It's a lucid dream. It's a simulation. Okay. But the programs of self-worth and self-doubt, and you're going to freeze to death, and you're going to die, and you're going to starve to death, and you're going to get jailed, and you're going to get in trouble, and you're going to get... Okay, that's what you have to transcend, right? And that whole thing of it's not okay to just be, right? Learning to just be. It's been one of the hardest challenges of my life, to just let myself just hang out, just be, without push, project, do this, do that, do this, right? And that comes from programs that we came here to transcend, but also then our parents and our DNA and the whole thing. Once we transcend it for everybody. Like, I always hated working for someone else. Like, I worked for the Forest Service, like, couldn't stand it, right? We had these, for example, we had these surveys we did like 30 of them a day, and it was just like, and so my first summer after I got my forestry degree, I got a job with a contractor, and I studied all the contracts, and the next year I bid on my own contracts. So those surveys, as an example, that we did 30 of them, all day, 4 of us, I could do 300 of them in a day by myself, and I could get paid per survey, right? And just crank the contract out. Well, with the Forest Service, it's like they want you to, they're like, don't hurry. It makes us look like, we got to do more, or it's hurry up and wait, or it's, it's this whole other system. And the point of that is, I don't actually remember the point of that, but just something. So jobs, or people thinking, oh, well, you're lazy, or you're this or that, or you don't want a job, or you don't want this or that. And then I my own business, I'd work like 16 hours a day, right? No problem. But working for someone else, and they're and I'm like, I don't want to. Okay, it just makes me numb. Okay, which isn't to say there isn't someone out there that I would like to work for. I might someday, but I prefer to be my own boss. I prefer to push myself around. Anyway, I guess that's all for this discussion. I just want to give mostly, I probably am going to be the one watching my own videos. So when spirit brings things through, and they just kind of push through, I don't always know, but I right now I'm not really struggling. I'm focusing and working on refocus with finding joy in the moment, letting myself do what is joyful, not making myself do anything that I don't want to do, and not buying into fear what happens if I don't force myself to do what I don't want to do, and just raise my frequency, and let the new come to me without fear. And so I guess that's what this is a reminder to me about. Apparently that's what Spirit wanted to say. So, okay, well, hang in there, because next up we're going to read some of this. All right. I know you're going to be just so excited. Yes, sir. Bye.